Hello friends, welcome to Shiksharthi. In this video, we'll be having an insightful blend on linear equations, arithmetic series and numbers. So let's start. Now we'll be taking an example here with the help of which, or we'll be taking a question here with the help of which we will see that how one topic can be connected with another topic. So here the example that we are going to take now is, so let us say if I say that 2x plus 3y is equal to a 31. So this is a linear equation in two variables. A linear equation, that means I am talking about only one equation in two variables. Now if I have to solve this, equation, the very first question that comes to my mind is what will I solve? Because this has only one equation in two different variables. I mean, you will have maybe infinite solutions or whatsoever, or maybe you cannot even think of how to work out in terms of finding out the number of solutions of this equation. But on a careful inspection, you would say that if some additional piece of information is given in this question, maybe it helps me to solve. But before any additional information is given on the question, let us first talk about that if this question is given to you and you are supposed to solve for various values of x and y, or let's say pairs of x comma y, how many such pairs can you form? Let's talk about them. Okay. So when I start solving this, it is always easy to take integer values first. So the first thought that comes to my mind or anybody else's mind is, we'll first talk about integer values. Integer values of x and y. Okay. Now the second thought which comes to me is, even before, so this is talking about, so when I talk about integers, I'm basically talking about numbers only. The second thought that comes to me here is, so here you are basically talking about the classification of numbers. The second thought here is, now I know that when I'm talking about integers or I'm talking about natural numbers or I'm talking about whole numbers, basically boils down to numbers written without a decimal point. When I'm talking about that, I know that now when x is an integer or a natural number or a whole number, now 2 whenever multiplied by any number would always give me an even number, and the final answer is what? The final answer is an odd number. So that makes me say what? That makes me say that irrespective of the value of x that I am taking, this product will always be an even number. In that case, the value of y has to be odd. So still we are sticking to numbers only. Now once you have this insight, now you're talking about equations, you're solving equations and you're starting off with an insight on numbers. So once you have this insight, you can always start off and you can say, now what is the minimum value? So either I put the minimum value to x here or I put the minimum value to y. So let me start talking about the multiples of 3. So now the third thing you're talking about here is, you're talking about multiples of either. So you're either talking about multiples of 2x or you're talking about multiples of 3y is what you're talking about. And you're talking about, so let's say if I talk about multiples of 2x, which is the closest multiple of 2x, closest to 31. So it is a 30. So now when I make this as a 30, I have to make this as a 1, which is not possible because 3 into 1 by 3 is equal to 1, and we are talking about the integer values or the natural number values. Okay, so in that case, what do I do? So I can't take this as a 30. Let me talk about the next multiple, the next closest multiple. So that works out to be a 28. So in that case, we say what? 28 plus 3 is equal to a 31. Yes, so you are able to immediately work out the minimum possible such pair. So which is the minimum possible such pair? Now x comma y, you are getting the minimum possible such pair as, so what is the value of x here? 14, and what is the value of y here? 1 is what you get. What is the next thing that you need to do? So now you can start working out. So now let's start talking about the multiples of 3. So if I would have started from multiples of 3, now I see that the question becomes easier for me. And I have to talk about only those multiples of 3 which are odd numbers. So let's say 3 into 1, next 3 into 3, next 3 into 5, next 3 into 7, next 3 into 9, next. So you just keep on adding 666. Mark the words being used. You just keep on adding 666. In that case, you'll be able to work out these values. So when you are adding 6 here, you are subtracting 6 from here. And so on. So now when I go like this, talking about the values of x, now you're subtracting a 6, but when you're talking about y, you're talking about increment of 6. So from here you get some hint. What is a hint here? So now talking about linear equations. So now when I talk about linear equations, we can bring in the concept of coordinate geometry also here. So when I say insightful blend, we started off with 3 topics, but now further on we can talk about the coordinate geometry concept. We can talk about ratio proportion, and the moment we talk about ratio proportion, arithmetic series also comes into picture. So now, can I rewrite this equation as y is nothing but 31 minus 2x divided by 3? So forget about these constant terms, but I can say that here it is plus y and here we are getting minus x. So can I say if y increases, then x should decrease, and analogously if y decreases, then x should increase, and then y increases or decreases by what account? Here we are talking about the multiple, the value of 2x increasing or decreasing by 6, and the multiple of 3y either decreasing or increasing by 6. So let me put it like this: if this multiple decreases by 6, this has to increase by 6. Analogously, if this increases, this has to decrease. This is what we have talked about. So we have brought the concept of coordinate geometry resulting into ratio proportion concepts as well. Next thing now, which is the final thing here, is now can we just list all the values of x and y here? So if I have to list the values of x comma y, let me just list all the values. So let's say case by case, I'm going to list. So now what is the value of x here? 14. So I'll say 14 comma 1. What is the next value of x that I'm getting from here? 11. What is the next value of y that I'm getting from here? 3. So you will see that now this is increasing. Y is increasing by how much? 2. And at the same time the x is decreasing by 3. Right. So now when I say this, so what is the next? So let's say here this is 8, next 5, next 2. So I just need to subtract a 3 from here. Next minus 1. Okay. So what about the values of this? 5, 7, 9 and then 11. And we are talking about the integer values. But when I see from here, this will be open-ended. Open-ended in the sense that I would keep on taking values on this side also and the other side also, because we have not talked about the values before this. For example, the value that comes before this, can I say here it will be a minus 1? And on the other side, when I'm talking about this side, can I say the value here would be a 17? You're subtracting a 3. So this is 17 and you're adding a 2. So this is how, so it is still open-ended. Now in order to have a close-ended value, either I close it from one side or I close it from the other side. And how will I close it? Which is the next thought here. So if I put it as x and y are natural numbers, will I be able to close it? Let's see. So which are the cases that we are going to consider? Will I consider this case? Yes, this, We'll consider all these cases. And how many such pairs did we get from here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 such pairs you got from here. So from here you get, now when I say this decreases by 3 and this increases by 2, we are basically talking about arithmetic series. So can I put it like this? Now ultimately it lands on arithmetic series, which is why we call this as a special equation. When I am looking in for integer values, I'm looking for natural number values of x and y. Now why is it called as a special equation? Why? Because first of all, I'm using only 2 variables in the single equation, which is what it makes this equation special. And not only this, but also you're using so many topics together, which is why this is an insightful blend. So you're using so many topics to solve only one question, which is why we call it as a special equation. So finally we call it as arithmetic series. Why? You have the answer now. So can I say now, so if now here x was decreasing and here y was increasing, so can I find out the nth format of y? So can I say y is nothing but 2n minus 1? So y is nothing but 2n minus 1. And how do I get this? We already know the formula for arithmetic series. The nth term is equal to the first term plus n minus 1 into the common difference of the same series. Similarly, can I get the nth term here? Yes. So which is just like saying 14 plus, now this decreases by 3. So minus 3 times of n minus 1. So which is just like saying 17 minus 3n. Now this is the case when x is decreasing and y is increasing. And what is n here? N is a natural number. And just to check, if I put the value of n as 1, I should get the value of y as 1. And if I put the value of n as 1 here, I should get the value of x as 14. The moment I put the value of n as 2, I should get y as 3. And the moment I put the value of n as 2 here, I should get the value of x as 11, which I got. Had x been increasing and y would have been decreasing, in that case, work out the value yourself. You already know. I mean, what is the inference now? Finally, the inference here is x increases or decreases by the multiple of y here, which is just like saying x can increase by 3 or decrease by 3. In that case, y will increase by the multiple, the coefficient of x. Now this is true only for this equation, wherein I am having ax plus by is equal to a constant term, and I am looking in for either integer values of x and y, or I am looking in for natural number values of x and y. In that case, we are only talking about this kind of an equation, which is of the format ax plus by is equal to a c, is what we are talking about. So in this case, if x has to increase, and we are talking about all a, b, c are basically natural numbers. So it is given that all a, b, c are natural numbers. So what will I say? X will either increase by b or decrease by b. In that case, the value of y will decrease and increase, or increase by a, given the fact all a, b, c are natural numbers. This is what we have discussed here. I am not taking it to a next level. As of now, you just need to understand this only. Once you have understood this, maybe then we can take this as non-integers also. For example, I could have taken x by 2 and y by 3 is equal to something. Let's say 1. So as of now, talking with respect to such question, I have taken a generic format, which is ax plus by plus c. And what are the total topics that we used to solve this special equation, given the fact that we know now why is it being called as a special equation. The topics that we have used here are linear equations in there is a single equation in 2 variables. What is the second topic that we have used here? Numbers. What under the head of numbers have we used? We have used the concept of the classification of numbers in terms of natural numbers, integers thereof. Then we talked about the multiple concept. The multiples, even and odd numbers is what we talked about. What is the next thing that we talked about? We talked about coordinate geometry, resulting into ratio proportion, and finally resulting on arithmetic series. If you feel that this video is really informative and you want us to do such kind of videos, Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. If you want us to do some such kind of videos, do not hesitate, put it in the comment section so that we can do it for you. Thank you so much. Until next we meet, goodbye.